Thank you very much for this opportunity that I can talk today. Thank you for the Frappe team that is allowing me to talk. Today, right now, I'm going to talk about a mission for the ERPNext. So, we started at 2013 as a division of a commodity trading company in Jakarta. We stumbled upon ERPNext by accident, basically. That time we needed for a ERP system that we can use since our business is growing, and we need some solutions fast. So I go across the internet and we found like one ERP solution called ERPNext, and I tried that, we evaluate that, and yeah, we love it, So, and then we start, investing more and more in the ERPNext by, training for the ERPNext, and then we become the foundation member, and then we invest more and more and more, because I basically firmly believe that ERPNext is my solution. So we adopt that from 2013 until now. And in further my commitment to ERPNext, we created on 2017 is the Nusantara. It's our company that provides a solution for Indonesia market ERPNext. And then we become like Frappe partner in 2018. And right now, as this year, we create a development center for ERPNext in Indonesia. So I'm not talking today about my experience or what we do, but we are talking more about Indonesia as a market. So Indonesia as a market, we have fourth biggest population as a country in the world. We have like $1 trillion economy. We see lots of changes in the economy itself. We see the country is experiencing some digital transformation in the economy. We have seen young millennial generations. They are the driving force of the economy right now. We see new startups that becomes Indonesian unicorn, such as Gojek. Right now, they are contributing up to $600 million of the GDP to Indonesian market. So this way, these new startups, these new unicorn, and the young generations, they create new disruptions in the businesses. The businesses now we know now that traditional businesses is being changed. Before if we want to market some product, we may go to television or newspaper. Right now, the youngsters, they are very happy to sell everything on Instagram or in Twitter or in Facebook. And they even sell their product to somebody else that they never meet. They just, talk in Instagram. They say, yes, okay, we'll transfer you, and then they ship it. So the trust is there. The economy is moving in some direction that it's disrupting the whole business, and the business needs to change in order to adapt that. So this kind of digital growth, digitalization of the economy really disrupt the business. It changed the way the business owner and the business people think business. More and more people in Indonesia, we are start talking about going from offline into online. Company now needs to have a special Instagram account or Twitter account or Facebook account in order to reach more to their customer and to their audience. We've seen lots of company that is startup. They are startup and they're using online business as their first engagement to their customer, and they grow so fast that now they are in terms on par with the traditional business. Let's say cosmetics business. Now they even have like their own brand. They have their own shops in the mall, which they started from the online community. So I think the business is really changing. And the young millennial generation as the driving force, they are now pushing the business to grow. And we are seeing lots of traction with ERP, The demand of ERP is there, because then business needs somehow to continue to grow, and the ERP can be the platform for the business to grow themselves. So on the ERP market, Indonesia as a ERP market is like this. If we see the world, I'm sorry for the typo, but it's a $40 billion industry in 2019, and it's expecting like that to 2020. At that point, cloud ERP market share is around 21% of the whole global ERP market. As for Indonesian market in ERP, we have a statistics that shows that in 2016, the whole economy, the whole ERP market is worth about 150 million, and it expected to be like 230 million something in 2018, but I believe now it's 2019, so with the growth rate like that, I believe it's already almost near 300 million. So that is, then in the ERP software, mostly in Indonesia, is we need to cater the ERP for the small and medium enterprise. That is why I will explain you after this. So if you talk about Indonesian GDP, our GDP mostly like 70% of the Indonesian GDP contributor is the SMEs. So out of the 1 trillion economy, the SMEs consist of $700 million economy in SMEs. And if you look at the quantity number, the 99% of the company registered in Indonesia is categorized as SMEs. And of that market share, 26% or the highest market share came from the wholesale and the retail sector. So we should know what is a SME, so I will just show you our law about SMEs. So we categorize SMEs as 3 different types. One is the micro SMEs, which has revenue up to $20,000 per year. And then we have the SMEs, which have a revenue could be around 20 to 170,000, or let's say 200,000. And then we have the big mediums going to be the medium SMEs, that is 200,000 to $1 million businesses. So that is the categorization of SMEs according to the law. So if you see at the market industry, the three big chunk of the SMEs market in Indonesia is number 1 will be the retail or wholesale, and then the second one will be the product-oriented and manufacturing, and then the last one, it will be the food, beverages, and the restaurants. And then the other will follow, such as food processing, and then consultation, services, and the other, and etc., etc. So what is the major challenges of SMEs in Indonesia? The statistics here shows that number 1 would be the financing. In order to grow, SMEs in Indonesia really needs to grow. Somehow it's mostly informal sector, so they rely heavily on traditional economics. They really rely maybe on the human factor. They do bookkeeping or accounting by books or by Excel, and that's why they really have this difficulty on finding the good human resources. They have difficulty in finding loans with the bank, and then they have difficulties with the government regulation because they are not really suitable and they are not really prepared for meeting this all government compliances. So this is all the major factor that challenge the SMEs growth. And if we see like here, I believe by implementing an ERP system, the SMEs really can benefit from all of this hurdle. So encouraging facts of ERP implementation that we already know, like we all say, and it's the fact that 95% of the business using ERP improve their efficiency and improve their processes. So that is why the company will have a reduces process. They will have a centralization of data. They will have to increase their efficiency. They can have sets of system that can help them, position them to grow and to be able to tackle all the challenges in their future ahead. So that is, but in order to create a good SME-centric and ERP system, I think there should be some changes between how you cater SMEs market with the enterprise market. So one of the factors that I found about designing ERP system for SMEs and enterprise is this much. I'm not going to do one by one, but actually the SME sector, they are more dynamic because they started, so they need more features. They need more feature that can help them to grow. They don't need a feature that goes so much in depth about what it's going to do, not like the enterprise. When enterprise come, they will say, I know what I need this. So you just have to follow my sets of compliance, my sets of process, then that's it. But with the SMEs, sometimes when you come, unlike the last presentation, maybe the requirement is not that clear. They still kind of think, okay, we need to grow, we want this, but we don't really know what to do. So this is where the ERPNext can really add value to this, because what we need is the best practices standard of what we have, and when we can influence the SME to dynamically and try to use the flow or the standard that we have in ERPNext, and we can position them, we can actually help them to grow. Okay, so that was just my talk about the ERPNext for the SMEs. But the thing is, because we are full stack open source with what teams call this battery included system, so whenever we go to the SME, we will say that this solution will help you to reduce cost. There will be a full solution that you don't really have to, you can have this much features, you don't really to do lots of customization, and this can reduce your delivery to the, it will help you to finish your implementation more quickly. And then the cloud SAS, software as a service model, would be greatly helpful because it will, expense your investment as an operation expense rather than the expense, because SME is a very cost-sensitive industry. And then I think for version 12 right now and overall ERPNext, we are quite really mature for the retail, wholesale, and manufacturing sectors. That is the three big sectors that I mentioned before. That is the big chunks of SMEs in Indonesia. And then, the next is just we can reduce the reliance of human factor, because there is this saying in Indonesia that when you want to grow, when you want to scale, just add more people. But then, the cost of training people, the cost of making the people ready for the job, it's actually not that easy, not that simple, because people change, and so the human behavior is hard to predict like that. And if we talk about the future of ERP, we found that there is some trends of convergence of the machine learning, and there's a convergence of Internet of Things, and there's a convergence of artificial intelligence. So this are all this new technology that is really disrupting the ERP as we know, and this could create or influence the ERP in the future. So this is all the trends that we found that three biggest new technology that is really gaining popularity is, number one is machine learning, number two is artificial intelligence, and number three is Internet of Things. So I believe that right now these three things will really change the ERP sector. People are start looking on these features. Some vendors, they really want to maximize this feature by adding, let's say, machine learning, or by adding integrations with the industrial sector. Right now in Indonesia, we have like Industry 4.0, which means like integrating the ERP or the process into the machinery. So I believe these kind of trends will change and force us to change on adopting this. Whether this technology will exist, survive or not, but we surely will be having that change like that. So what is the challenge for ERPNext? So our challenge right now is, I think we have to do a templating for each of the industrial best accepted practices and standard in the ERPNext. That way, we as a person or the service provider or as a Frappe partner or as a community, all of us, we can reach faster delivery to the customer. That is crucial. And then number 2 is, I really like Frappe platform. The platform itself is very flexible. So what I think is maybe we need more integration with the new kind of technology so we can actually increase the flexibility of the platform so that can adopt more and more new technology that is coming in. And then we have lots of, actually, if you talk about ERP, then we are talking about localization. Each country will have their own industry leaders in, let's say, e-money or payment gateway or bank account and everything. That all things, what we need is we need to create more and more integrations to this kind of stuff that is really beneficial for the user that use ERP. And we also need some regional localization, such as taxes and then the fiscal and everything that should be there, for that we can utilize ERP system and we can give the best templating and creating. For me, my point is to create the golden standard in the ERPNext. So ERPNext for my country and also the ERPNext for your country, like that. So what is our most valuable asset? As always, what I will say is, because we have the community, we have an active community around the world. That is our biggest asset. And the community itself, that means we have lots of experience. We can share resources. We can share our thinking and other things that, we can make these products better. And then the next biggest asset is because we are open source. Well, I'm not going to tell more about open source because this is the 4th day, and I believe we all here because of open source. So this is our also biggest asset. And then the last one is cloud-based ERP. This is the fact that the cloud-based ERP is really gaining momentum right now in the world. So many people start changing to the from on-premise to the cloud-based ERP. So people say it's easier to ride with the big wave rather than you go against the current. So I think this is all of our biggest asset right now. So borrowing the phrase from my country that unity in diversity. So I think we are one big community of ERPNext that we need to, do something with this product. And as Rusap said that, enemy at the gates. So we should do something with that rather than, having a problem in our inside community. We should actually go out and, there's an enemy coming. From my experience, this big vendor, they are already start thinking as open source. They start creating open source product. They start looking at the clouds. They start looking at our momentum. And my thing is, we should not, we should not be relaxed right now. We should keep aware that the world is changing and so are we. And if we are not changing, the one who will actually resist is the change itself. So we might not be there if we don't change. That is my thing. So yeah, thank you very much.